Hi, I'm live here with Martijn from Kwamecorp. I imagine some of our viewers don't know what it is. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about what you do?
Kwamecorp is an innovation company, a collective of pioneers. And what we do evolves around design, both industrial and all kinds of other forms of design, and engineering.
So do you usually work with startups basically as sort of like a design consultancy?
When we work with startups, those are mostly our own startups.
Okay.
We work with large corporations, and we work with startups that want to take their product to the next level and don't want to be dealing with a large team of technologists that have to go after the platform or whatever needs to be created is done.
So I heard that one of the interesting projects that you're working on is related to diamonds. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about that?
It's actually not related to diamonds. It's related to tantalum and tin and gold.
Okay.
And it's a project where we provide all the software engineering for, and it's called the Fairphone. And it's a mobile phone where we have cleaned up the whole supply chain. So the tantalum and the gold and the tin comes from conflict-free mines. And the way we have designed the software on the phone, it's a phone that really takes care of your privacy, and that is a fair phone.
Are you guys selling the phone, or is this through a partner?
No, it's a partnership that we have with a company in Holland, which is the Fairphone, and they are responsible for the hardware, and we are responsible for the software. So they sell the brand and the phone.
Is the phone available now?
Yeah, you can buy it on fairphone.com, and through, I think in England, the co-op.
And is the underlying software, is that like an operating system that you guys created, or using Android?
No, it's Android, and
Okay.
we took that stack and turned it upside down and did with it what we thought was the right thing for this kind of a phone experience.
So do you think that if somebody who's using this phone, should they be thinking about the fact that this is, as you said, the fair phone, or do you want them to just think this is a great phone that happens to have been built, with these materials?
Yeah, so for us, we don't call ourselves a social enterprise. We don't call ourselves an impact enterprise. The first thing is the user experience needs to be top-notch. The second thing is that the way the technology works needs to be top-notch. And then the third thing is that, how do you make your product? What is the impact on what you're making on the planet and on life on it? And that's from there we take our thinking. So if that would be a negative kind of explanation, we say like, that's really not for us.
Right. So I guess the last question on the phone, how much does it cost?
I think in the UK it's around £490.
Okay, gotcha. So I want to talk a little bit more about this idea that, like you said, you don't want to identify Kwamecorp as being primarily about social impact, but social impact is important to you. I mean, how do you sort of balance that?
At the end of the day, I think that if all humans on this planet, both business people and non-business people, would just take a little bit more responsibility for what they do and think about the consequences of what they do, then you would make different choices. And then we would not live in a world where we're destroying our planet and everything that lives on it. And for us, it's about business. It's about entrepreneuring, and we love the entrepreneurial spirit, and we love to do business. We think profit is really important. We think it's really important that what you create actually creates a lot of value and creates a lot of beautiful, meaningful experiences. But if that means that you're going to destroy the beautiful planet that you live on, we just don't want to do it. And social enterprises, impact investment, that all evolves around the idea that you cannot make money with this, right? So you have to lower your expectations in terms of the return. And we just want to stay away from that because we don't want to be seen as, pot-smoking, tree-hugging hippies that do something in technology. We're business people and we love to do cool things.
Right. Nothing against pot-smoking, tree-hugging hippies.
Nothing against pot-smoking,
that's not
nothing against hippie, nothing against tree-hugging. But, it's about doing business and taking responsibility for what you do.
So, I think that definitely sounds really good. I think sometimes what happens, though, is that when the rubber meets the road, there is a tension between the need to have a profit and to sort of, serve the environment or these other issues. It sounds like you don't think of it that way. Do you sometimes have to make those decisions? We have to choose between making a profit versus, respecting our values? It's a complicated question, I know, but I think it's an interesting one, given what you guys do.
If you compromise your values because you want to make a profit, then you might as well become a drug dealer, right?
Fair enough.
And if you think about what bounds us all together on this planet is we want to have our children grow up in peace and prosperity. So to compromise your values just for a little bit of profit so you can buy a bigger watch or a bigger boat, it's just not very smart.
I think that's a really good point. We're almost out of time. Before we close, I did want to ask about one other project that I believe you're working on with Lily Cole. Is that right?
Yes, it's impossible.com, which evolves around the same kind of idea, where you create a social network where it's not about look at me and how great I am, but it's around, hey, how can I help you? How can I, treat another human being as a friend and share resources, share time, share skills, and the sum of that is that you create a network of people that are more conscious in the way they live their lives. So we're not trying to compete with other social networks on look at me, but we're trying to create something new that sets it apart from everything else.
Great. So before we go, is there any other projects that you're excited about that you wanted to mention?
No, yeah, we've got so many projects, but then I just have to call out some names, and it's so silly.
Right, and then you don't want to make anyone feel left out. So, and we covered some exciting ones. So thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.